And one of the things I like, okay, we're gonna put in a little, here's the stuff I'm doing as I'm talking about all this stuff, and it's all this paperwork I'm doing, and all these people I'm calling, and we're gonna segue into me talking to you, first talking to the other people, then doing stuff I gotta do, and then talking to you. Have a gimmicky thing with the video, but we're just gonna do short clips. That's what we need to do, short clips, and you can piece it all together yourself. So I want to talk about the problem with me and shaving. So why don't you just shave? Well, some of it's economic, as it turns out. I don't have pulled up on the computer the costs yet, but basically I have. So I have. I really want to experiment with it because it was really good for me. Back, I was very fat back then, but when I was trying to get more interested in taking care of myself and looking good, and this was before I had my crowns put in. So I went down when I finally came to the mainland in the mid 2010s. I was able to go down to Mexico and in Algodones, what they call the dental capital. And so, I'm used to cross. It's the Andrade crossing. You take the blue line down to Tijuana, it's very different. But the Andrade crossing is really easy. They don't, and that was maybe they've changed it. Maybe they're trying to get more serious because you see Baja California putting the advertisements on the trolleys here. That's everybody looks at it. It embeds itself into your subconscious. It's like, okay, I'm gonna just go into Tijuana. They advertise San Quentin. That's my prison there. I want to go down to Tijuana. It says San Quentin. It says San Quentin. That's up in LA. That's the prison up in LA. That's death row. No, that's right down there in Tijuana. And they've got but a great place to go in Baja California, all the way down. We got to get out of the Tijuana airport on a Volaris flight. No one can afford to fly Aeromexico. That's a lot of pesos. I was looking at that. I think that must be for the people that are hooked up in government, just like Lamerton das Artemiano Cruze, or Einlichten, or whatever that book is called in Mexican. It's a different language. But I was reading some of the translation of it. It talks about miembre in it, and there's a catheter in his penis, and back then it was metal, so mid 20th century. But it's very fascinating. I see with Mexico there, you'd think if you study Latin American culture in the United States, you'd think these are highly sociological, class conscious. They all know, because C. Wright Mills, he dedicates it to C. Wright Mills, and this is the mid 20th century. A sociological imagination guy dedicates it to C. Wright Mills. But you go down there and it's just, I can't even say it looks a little crappier than America. You got police. They stopped me over there in Tijuana too. The police stopped me. And there's stuff you gotta tell them. But no entendre Espanol is what it is, and it's like, and the guy's like, I got my hand. It's the same. It's a nice police cruiser too. They've got a Ford. Like it's just they do it a little different, and the guy's all big and buff, and they got cops around me, and I got my hands on. It's right down there, very near the crossing in the central area. My hands on the hood of the police cruiser, and then he says, "Drogos, I'm no entendre Espanol and no." Habalos Espanol, and the guy's like, drugs. And I'm really, drugs. No, drugos. No. Oh, okay. And I show him my California ID. I went shopping bag, shop here to shop, buy leather products like the belt I'm wearing. Okay, we're gonna go make sure you patronize our Women in North Day too. We're gonna have to make a manga video one of these days, but that's a separate thing. So I want to talk about shaving. And you got to keep your eye on the HIV because there's this lady from Lilo and Stitch. She, I think people kind of immediately go to, okay, so she died of AIDS in LA. How do you die of AIDS in 2026? And immediately people are thinking she must have, because she was fucked up by Disney, and Disney's so evil, and we shouldn't take our children there, and you shouldn't. I wanted to go to Trump Tower. I said, don't take me to Disneyland, take me to Trump Tower. But that money's what I like when I was young. But as you take your kids to Disneyland, that immediately people are thinking she's this bug chaser, that even though she was famous and got paid all this money to be a voice actress in Lilo and Stitch, that she died of it because she had gone into the streets because of the sympathy that Disney gives you, and Mulan. That's the greatest generation of movies. And we walked down in elementary school in the after-school program to watch that movie. We sat in the theater, we got popcorn, and there's Christina Aguilera performing, When Will My Reflection Show Who I Am Inside. You're Chinese, and some people like Chinese. So this is Mulan, and so people immediately think that she was doing intravenous drugs with poor people in the streets as part of this ultra liberal identity she was given because she was an actress in Disney and came maybe from a family that was Joe Biden level rich, $7 million or something like that. That's how you get hooked up with being a voice actress. And then out of that, she had these, dreams of a poor experience and was doing intravenous, sharing needles with poor people like poor people have to, because she has a problem, this deep hang up over the fact that, it's not enough of a sanctuary city where people don't have to share needles, and we should support their problem. That there's just like sex. Just like you can't do anything about sex, you can't do anything about the fact you have to shoot up on heroin. And so that's the thing we have to keep our eye on. I think there may be a strain of super. So you got to be careful with these girls. So just saying. But I want to talk about, speaking of teeth brushing, because, when I brush my teeth, there's pink in this thing, so I don't want to have HIV be spreading it to everybody. We don't want to do that. But I think this shows I got to brush my teeth more. It's kind of hard when you're homeless. We're going to talk about shaving. And a lot of it's economic, because I have to think in my head. It's not just, okay, I got to shave, let's pull out a safety razor. What I was saying is I was originally using a straight razor. It's just a single blade, and there was a company with like Vanderhagen or something like that, like Haagen-Dazs Vanderhagen. It was a big thing at the time, and so I went down to Walmart, I bought it, and it was great. It was just the best thing. Put some shaving butter on there. Now we can't afford all that cool shit, but it's still something I'd want to do, because it just works better than a safety razor with 5 or 6 blades. But I have to use one with 5 or 6 blades, and it's a world of hell when you've got a lot of whiskers. So it's good to have something like a trimmer or something like that. Or at this point, you should really just go into a barber and get a haircut. I'm not going to do that. I have to save my money. I have no money, but it's economic, because so I buy the Harry's razors. And I buy them in as large a pack as I can. But unfortunately, this is stuff that men with money know, but people without money kind of don't give a lot of thought to, because like you see J.D. Vance, that's the look of him. He's Marine Corps. He doesn't have the money or time to have a barber shave him or to shave himself. Now that he's out of the Marines and they're not running a playing card against his, making sure in basic training. I don't think they even do this anymore, but they used to really enforce this stuff in high schools. That if you were in extracurricular, especially sports or band, this was back in the 70s, up through the 70s. So this is mid 20th century. So we're gonna get a playing card. We're gonna run it against the boy's face, and if it makes that sound, you need to go and shave, because you need to learn to groom yourself. If you don't groom yourself, you're poor. But there's the truth. There's an economic reality to it. So it's this ultimate microeconomics. It's like, just like with how if I give these beautiful elite women logos to, smell me and see if I have that smell between my legs, and then I have a trust fund for these special services I need to get, which includes laundry, which includes other kinds of consultancy no one else would need, because my mind is so slow that it can't juggle the things everybody else can, but I still want to be around the elite women, right? So I never end up being able to meet the prerequisites that everyone else easily can. People look in the mirror and there's hair, it's time to shave. But some of it's just economic, because when you have little bit money, that means you have to think in your head. You have to do more thinking. Okay, is this something I value more than this? Is this something I value more than this? I just need to have enough money so that if I have to shave, I can shave. And if I want to experiment with different shaving products, and ideally the best barbers in New York will do it for me, because part of it's that I'm clumsy. Part of it is that I'm a clumsy person. I even end up cutting myself with these safety razors. But that has to do with economic reality in terms of I can't afford shaving cream. And so we're doing it dry pretty much, and especially when it's this long. But what I have, and this is the last of it, is from the homeless shelter. They have this shaving lotion. I'm going to show it to you. Let me see if I can. This is how tightly packed the bag is. And I just put it on the face. Let me see if I can dig this. Here we go. It's in this plastic bag. And so, so here's my Harry's razor. And I'm down now to, after I put this new blade on, it's gonna be, let's see, where's the razor? See, this would have been, if I were in a barber shop and they would just put all this shaving cream on me and they had a razor, this would have been done. And we've already been talking for how long? 10 minutes or something like that? But here's the 4-pack of Harry's, I think 6-blade or 5-blade. So I've got 3 left, but that's not a lot. I thought it only was down to 1 or 2. But the truth is, you think, okay, every now and then you got to replace it. No, every couple of shaves, you have to replace it. These blades go dull, and this is costly. This is costly stuff. Why? So indeed, you look at someone that's not groomed, they are not valued enough by society to be able to afford the products they need to show, we talk about status symbols like a car. Well, if you are well groomed, in that sense, is a status symbol because they can afford these things. This is like a drop in the bucket. This stuff is a drop in the bucket. For me, it's not a drop in the bucket, but I really do care about it. Looking like Donald Trump, not J.D. Vance. So, and he never has any hair on his face. He's got people running that car. I mean, they might have had, for him, they might have done electrolysis on him. He might have undergone electrolysis in like the 60s or something, so that it was never a problem. You never know. Where is the razor? It's in one of these bags. See how long this takes? Okay, let's see. Let's focus 100%. There we go. Okay. So we got it. And this is just how long this shit takes. I should just be able to have enough money. I should be worth so much money, collecting so much rental income from strip malls and stuff that I can go into any barber shop wherever I am at. So that I can connect with people that are local business owners and have conversations with them and sit back in a barber chair. So we got to be conservative with this too. So it's we can't just spread it out evenly because the thing's going to dry up. But you see how long this takes, right? This could have been done in a couple minutes. But you can tell, you can kind of, I'm a little clumsy. The way I move, it's just, I'm rough around the edges. So it translates to being a lot harder. We gotta put more of it on there. So I can use it as a mirror here. I rarely have that luxury. Because I got to do this in a bathroom or something. Now you got to, all over the table. There we go, the janitors here. I got to ask one of them if they're hiring. It'd be a good, convenient, right off the green line. Here. This takes time. And by the way, speaking of asking one of them if they're hiring, that guy was shaving in the courtyard on Sunday, the day after the 4th of July. It's a little sketchy. I nicked myself yet? Okay. And even then, there's still stuff you miss. There's still stuff you miss. It's like, yep, there, I cut myself. Yep, I cut myself. I mean, right there. It's someone else should do it for me. Yep. Yep.